Hi everyone, Jason from Iron Fence Shop. In an ideal world, your yard would be flat, level, and fence ready. However, in the real world, that's rarely the case. Now, if you're utilizing our Infinity aluminum fence panels, you have a little bit of an advantage because they can rack. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, today we're going to go through what racking an aluminum panel means and how it can help compensate for grade in your yard. Let's take a closer look at how this racking action works. Now, what I have here in front of me are two pieces of our traditional grade fence. Over here we have our iron, over here we have our aluminum. Now you'll notice on the railing for the aluminum there's a screw head on here, whereas in the iron there isn't. Now with the iron they're welded fully solid. Nothing moves on the panel. With the aluminum and the screw in the rail there is the ability to move that rail. If you take a look at the piece I have here, with the screw there you can pivot the rail on the picket, and that allows you to move and angle the railing while keeping your pickets upright. This is what's referred to as that racking action. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this racking action on the larger fence panel to give you a better idea how it looks. I've asked my coworker Sheena here to lend me an extra set of hands so we can show you this racking action on a larger size fence panel. What I have here is our 5-foot tall, traditional grade, Infinity aluminum fence panel in our classic style. What I've done is cut this down to 3 foot wide for demonstration purposes. Your standard panel is going to be a 6 foot width, but for this should be able to show the actual action for you. So to rack the panel, we're going to just have Sheena hold her end steady, and I'm going to lift up slowly on my end. As you can see, the railing begins to angle, but the pickets stay upright. This is that racking action. Now if I go ahead and drop this back down, I can lean it towards Sheena, she can lean it towards me, so you can fine tune how much angle you need in the fence panel there. Now you can get about 10 inches of rack over a standard 6 foot wide panel. So what that means is from this end to 6 foot over on the other end of the panel, you can compensate for a 10-inch change in the grade of your yard. Now one thing to keep in mind with racking these panels is that the point isn't to follow every little undulation and imperfection in the yard. It's really more so if you have a continual hill or slope going through the yard, is using these panels to continuously and smoothly follow them. Now you may notice as you're shopping around for other aluminum fences that other manufacturers do offer more than a 10-inch rack per panel. However, there's two very good reasons that we limit ours to 10 inches. The first of all is your picket spacing. Even though the unracked panel is going to have a 4-inch air gap, as you begin racking taller and taller and taller, those pickets start getting closer to each other as the railing angles. Now on a little bit of a rack, it's not going to be a problem. However, if you have a very severe rack on your panel, it's going to start looking like a very tight, almost double picket spacing, whereas the rest of your fence line that's not racked on there is going to have very wide normal spacing. So what you don't want are panels to look normal in a straight setting and look out of whack when they're severely racked on a hillside. You want things to still look like they match each other. The second reason is to get more rack out of the panel, you have to punch a much larger hole in the rail. So instead of a standard hole like this, you have to keep widening that hole out for the picket to feed through so that it can get more of a racking action moving back and forth. That's going to be a problem for two reasons. One is that it makes for a cheaper, flimsier connection point. You've got a very large hole, your picket just floating in the middle of it and your screw holding it. The second reason is just appearance. Now on a racked panel, that's going to be fine. On your straight panels, you're going to have this big unsightly punch in the rail that's going to be very noticeable that it's not a clean, tight connection. So for those two reasons alone, we pretty much like to keep our racking panels to about 10 inches. We find that accommodates most yards pretty easily, and if not, there are other ways to work around angles that get more severe than that. I hope this video has helped illustrate what racking an aluminum panel means for you and how you can use it to compensate for yard grade. Now if you have any further questions about racking our aluminum panels, or if the rack is going to be enough to work with your yard grade, give us a call at 800-261-2729 or shoot us an email over at sales@ironfenceshop.com. We look forward to hearing from you.